What's up, guys? Joker here. I'm going to be talking about the stat squish effect on Final Fantasy 14. It happened in Endwalker, so they took the belt out, which reduces the overall gear and score you can have. They also decided to, just squish the stats just naturally, just so the numbers wouldn't get out of control by you were in the millions and stuff like that. It was understandable. I thought, the squish would really affect leveling more than content difficulty. That's kind of what people were expecting. So let me start with the leveling process. So I've been leveling my black mage, and to be honest, it's just as good, maybe even slightly faster. um I would actually, I would actually say faster, because it definitely in the 70 to 80 range if you did all your roulettes, and that's like main scenario, and that includes that. You would basically get like A level, like about A level. I'm getting, doing the main scenario and everything, I'm like not even alliance rate. I'm doing just main scenario and everything else. I'm getting 2 levels in the 70 to 80 range, so that's a big bump. It's about 2 levels. It depends on like what you get and stuff like that, but yeah, you're getting just about 2 levels. So that's a huge difference. It makes the leveling process way easier. 1 through 50 could be different. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but for my process, at least from my black mage was, I think, in the low 60s to now it's like 76. It's been pretty quick to get to that point, especially since the 60 to 70, that was a real big pain, and so was 50 through 60. That was a pain. 70 through 80 was always easy. The process of leveling an Endwalker is also pretty easy too. Like 80 to 90, you'll be there pretty quick if you, especially if you're doing the main scenario, you'll be fine. Getting to 90 and doing roulettes, you'll get there like super fast. Especially on the roulettes, I was getting an 80. It was really lucky. I was getting the 80 plus dungeons, the Endwalker dungeons. So that was a good thing. So now content difficulty, it kind of varies. So I was doing Earth's Font, the Odin trial unsync, just to do my Wondrous Tale completion, and I did it. I do it on my Dark Knight every time, so there was a baseline. But the thing is, Dark Knight did change. So what is it called? That move that activates. What is it called? So Delirium. They updated it to now. It's not. You have a lot of these attacks in the span of like a certain amount of time. It's now you get 3 either those attacks at a time, and then it sinks down, but the cooldown is 60 seconds instead of 120 where it used to be. So that kind of does slow it down, because you just take Delirium and just spam the crap out of a boss and delete it, but now that you can only do it 3 times, it does slow it down a bit, especially in terms of damage. I've noticed that it usually is taking me now probably like 15 to 20 seconds more to clear a boss with Dark Knight. Whether it's Thornmark, Ifrit, Front, Garuda, it's taking about 15 to 20 seconds more. Even Ultimate Weapon, like I used to do that in like maybe 49, 50 seconds. Now it's up to like a minute 10. And I don't really think it's the stat squish. To my knowledge, I think it's just Delirium and some other attacks got adjusted around in Dark Knight, and it is making it slow. Delirium does make a huge difference, especially on unsync. You can just knock a lot of the boss out, especially if you time it right, so they don't just disappear and go invincible and stuff like that. I think the stat squish where I've seen it most effective is the 1 through 50 content is now way easier. It is just really easy to clear that content. It is kind of just it's even more of a joke now, like doing that content. It is like things just die instantly. I remember you can like 3-man stuff now, even without a tank. You can 3-man it. I know I had a tank DC. We just kept pulling and just killing things. Not like big packs, but small, like a small set of mobs, not like 2 sets at a time. But like it's you can definitely tell it is way easier. It is not way harder. I think the only time it's really been harder is Redonia Lighthouse, the Alliance raid. But I think that's just because people just didn't know mechanics, because I did it another time after that and it went way smoother. Like Rodonia Lighthouse, the first time it took an hour, and I was like, oh, so this is where the stat squish is taking place. I don't want to get these alliance raids anymore in the duty roulette. And then I got it again, and we did it basically about the same amount of time it used to take. So it's honestly just, it feels like it's more just skill in people doing mechanics more than this is harder. So that's good. I mean, I know they said a lot that they did a lot of testing, so clearly they weren't bullshitting around, because it looks like pretty good to me. I mean, well, pretty good. I think it's actually way better than I thought. It is pretty clean doing content. I'd rather be easier than harder. Nobody's gonna care if it's easier. If you're complaining that this old content is easier, like, I don't know, do an ultimate. If it's harder, it's just another thing that people who are down there in those lower levels are gonna have to slog through, especially since the 1 through 50, the first time going around, is a slog. Especially going through the Realm Reborn story, it's a slog. I mean, I've noticed I've gotten to Brawlers a lot recently, and I hadn't done it in forever, but it's really not that difficult. It's just going through the motions. Hydra, another 50 trial, pretty easy to do. Oh, Battle on the Big Bridge, that's another 50 trial. Felt literally about the same. Really, I think the Rodonia Lighthouse example was only an example of, you know, there's people who just didn't know what they were doing. That's what it was, and it was a lot of people. Like, there was alliances dead, like 2. Our alliance was the only one that was stable because we had a good healer. So I think honestly the changes to, you know, some classes, that's going to be where the stat squish is probably, you're going to think, oh, maybe it's a stat squish. No, it's just the ability changed, and Delirium is an example of that move changing. They just didn't make the cut like Warrior and Paladin, who both got substantially better, even though they were both already substantially better. I don't know what to think about them. Dark Knight clearly isn't a top tank anymore. You clearly cannot say that anymore. I never thought Dark Knight was the best tank anyway. I thought it was always the third, and I think now it's probably, I mean, I never thought Dark Knight was the third. I thought it was the worst all the time. And I think it is now especially the worst. Blackest Night is its one redemption. But yeah, I'll talk about changes in Endwalker to the classes later. I still have to get everyone up to 90 and stuff like that. That's going to take a long time. But I probably will prioritize the tanks just so I can make a video, since I am more of a tank player. But you know, in raids, I'm unfocused now. But in raids and stuff like that, I play DPS just because somehow the raid slot that's always open is DPS. But yeah, that's what I think. So just to wrap up, Stat Squish, I think it made more things easier rather than harder. That's very clear. I don't think anyone has to worry about anything, especially if you're a new player. It's not going to be really that bad going through these dungeons. And I played up and down in that 50 scale. I just randomly get it in leveling roulette. I've gone 60, 70, 80, you know, 50s, plenty of 1 through like 49 dungeons. You can really tell that it got easier. They made those Endwalker dungeons very easy. You can go through those very, very easily. All those are very easy, but I haven't made that clear. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. Just thought about making a quick video talking about it, because I know I brought it up before. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, really helps out. And until next time, see you later. Bye.